In 1827, a guy named Joseph Smith said that he received these metal plates that had a record of ancient Christian people on it that he dug up from a stone box on a hill, in which he was shown where they were buried by an angel named Moroni, like everybody does. And he said about translating the record from these golden plates into English using divine assistance, and that is what is now the Book of Mormon. But wait, if you've seen a Book of Mormon, then you know it's a pretty lengthy and dense book. You're telling me that that was all written on sheets of metal? Wouldn't that still be a huge bulky thing that was unwieldy to carry around? Well, the official description of the plates is that they were said to be a golden color. The individual sheets had the thickness of plates of tin, and they had 3 D-shaped rings bound around the edges like a big D-ring binder. The dimensions were said to be about 8 inches long and 6 inches wide, and together they were about 4 to 8 inches thick. Overall, it said they weighed about 40 to 60 pounds, and you might be thinking, that seems surprisingly small for how dense the Book of Mormon is. Well, it gets even more fantastical, because it's also said that about half to 2/3 of the metal plates were sealed, making it impossible to separate the pages. They were bound together and appeared as solid as wood. Side note, this sealed section is said that it will be translated and revealed in the future, according to the Lord's timing. So the whole Book of Mormon as we know it was translated from just half the plates, the loose pages part. And wait, there's also a story where famously 116 pages of the beginning of the translation work were lost and never retranslated to be included in the Book of Mormon. So there's also a chunk of the loose pages part of the plates that isn't even included in the Book of Mormon. So basically, Mormons believe there is a lot more of this sacred scripture that will be revealed someday, but this is the portion that the Lord brought forth for our day. That's a really fun piece of lore when you're Mormon, to speculate what amazing secrets of the universe will be revealed someday from the rest of what was on the plates. Okay, but how can so much book be written in such a small space then? That seems impossible. Well, the apparent solve for this that Joseph Smith came up with was to say that it was written in a language called Reformed Egyptian. That is a very compact writing system. Oh, okay, Reformed Egyptian. Okay, cool. But the problem is there is no such thing as Reformed Egyptian. In the Book of Mormon, it is mentioned a couple of times that they are writing in the language of the Egyptians, and in one instance it is said, "We have written this record in the characters which are called among us the Reformed Egyptian, being handed down and altered by us according to our manner of speech." It also mentions that the Reformed Egyptian has a more compact way of writing than Hebrew, and that is why it is written in this Reformed Egyptian. Also, it is said, "None other people knoweth our language." So the apologists are like, it's a special way of writing that the authors came up with themselves, or may have even been divinely inspired based on Egyptian characters, and it was carefully passed down from person to person to write in order to keep the plates compact, because also, like, from a practical standpoint, this record was being written on metal, so it would get very heavy really fast. And they call it Reformed Egyptian, but it's not like a formal language that existed widely that we would even have archaeological evidence of, because the Book of Mormon people made it up themselves, basically only for the purpose of these plates. It sounds a little like Ubby or something, But it doesn't super matter that it's made up, because Joseph Smith is also going to use divine inspiration to translate it anyway. It's a magic language written magically to be translated magically. Okay, got it. Okay, this story is too long. Follow along for part 2.